Cigar Company is your one-stop shop for all your cigar needs. Whether that's a brand new humidor, a box of those new cigars you've been waiting for, a top-of-the-line cutter or lighter, a place to enjoy the finest cigars and spirits with friends, or the only cigars grown right here in the Sunshine State, we've got you covered. Come visit one of our retail locations for the ultimate cigar experience. Visit us online at coronacigar.com.
How about that cigar?
Well, how about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, get that.
Jeez Louise.
Cowboys.
You whooped them yesterday, now you're whooping me? Jeez Louise. How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Corona Cigar Studios for episode 229.
Don't ask me.
It took me a second to remember. Episode number 229 of How About That Cigar Live. Thank you guys so much for watching live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Instagram, live on X, formerly known, the artist formerly known as Twitter. And if you guys are listening after the fact on the audio podcast, thank you so much for making How About That Cigar a part of your regular audio podcast rotation. Make sure to click all the subscribe buttons, all the like buttons, all the buttons, so you don't miss anything we have going on here.
Smash them all
of the buttons.
So before we start talking about, and everybody knows I'm not a Packer fan, but I love when they whooped them Cowboys yesterday. Oh, that was beautiful.
That was, I mean, you can see the hat. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan.
Goes right in the trash.
I always go into games with hope, but realistic hope, because although I'm a fanboy of the Green Bay Packers, I'm also a fan of the game. I understand that, they were complete underdogs yesterday. There was hardly anybody was giving them a chance to win. You were. Hardly anybody was giving them a chance to win.
Let's get Justin in here and let's see what he thinks about yesterday's game.
I know that you watched every second of every play, every down, every pass, every run, every handoff.
Yeah, I watched it all.
Yeah, I know you're a huge sports fan, Justin.
Huge. The Packers won, Cowboys lost. I got that.
Yeah.
So it was a great game.
The
second game of the day was a lot more enjoyable as far as competitiveness. The Lions and the Rams.
It was interesting too, because out of wild card weekend and Philly and whoever else is still Tampa Bay, they're still playing right now. But so Green Bay killed Dallas,
murdered him.
Kansas City killed Miami, Houston killed Cleveland, Buffalo killed Pittsburgh, and Philly and Tampa are playing right now. And the only close game, it was a 1-point game, Lions Rams.
Yep.
It was competitive. There was good offense, good defense.
It was a solid game. And then
Stafford gave them a chance. Yeah. He gave the Rams a chance to get there, but they just couldn't. So Tampa's still up, Jesus says.
They're up 16-3 last time we checked.
16-9 now, looks like. Okay. Well, this may be another close one, I guess. But honestly, a lot of blowouts. I was expecting some more close games. Yeah. But the fact that Green Bay beat up on Dallas like that, I was not expecting it. I was expecting, if anything, Green Bay would have a chance to win with like a last-second field goal.
How about them Cowboys? You know why I hate the Cowboys so much? It's not because of the team. It's not because of the owner or the coach. It's some damn fans. They are just terrible.
I don't know. I don't mind Dallas Cowboy fans.
Yeah, the only worst fans behind them are maybe Philly or Green Bay.
I was going to say the Eagles can't be.
Oh, sorry about
Philly or Green Bay.
Man.
You ever been to Lambeau Field? You go to Lambeau Field wearing the opposing jersey, people will treat you so nice you won't even know what to do with yourself.
If I go to Green Bay, I'm not going to a game. I'm hitting one of the smoke shops.
There are some good ones in Green Bay too. But on the other side of the coin, sports-wise, here in Minnesota, the Minnesota Wild still suck. So that's a quick report on the Minnesota Wild.
Yep.
And the Timberwolves are still in first place.
And they pulled off a good win the other day against
I'm starting to watch highlights. And I've even spun up a couple games on Amazon Prime, so I'm starting to watch a little basketball again.
Just a little bit.
But yeah, don't hold out any hopes that I'm gonna become like a regular fan again. And a little quick mystery whiskey check-in. As you guys know, we do a mystery whiskey for the last 4 or 5 months.
Yep.
So Raul brought this in from our mystery benefactor who's been donating these samples for the last couple of weeks.
And I can tell you, it is an 8-year-old bourbon that is imported or exported to another country. Can't get it here in the United States.
Smells really good. I smelled it before. I haven't tasted it yet, but I poured it before the show. It's got a great aroma. A lot of sweet, like butterscotchy kind of smells. Brown sugar, toffee kind of smells. A little taste here.
Justin is drinking his 1919 as usual, which he loves. Yeah. What are you smoking, brother?
I've got a M81 Blacken.
All right, and I am smoking some vintage Ice Mountain.
Vintage Ice Mountain water. So our first taste, this whiskey's really good. It smells higher proof than it is. So it does taste like about a 90-ish proof. But it's got great sweetness on it. There's a little bit of a funk that almost makes me wonder if it might have been finished in some different kind of a cask. I'm not sure. But it's nice so far. I definitely like that. But guys, you know why we're here. We are here
talk to the guy
for our special event of the evening. So this is episode 229 of How About That Cigar Live, and it is time for our special guest of the evening. As always, brought to us by our friends at Drew Estate. And Drew Estate originally introduced Chateau Real in 2007. Not long after the launch, this cigar brand mysteriously disappeared, and then the story became that only of folklore, legend, and even controversy. Now, Chateau Real makes a triumphant return exclusively at Drew Diplomat digital retailers. A luxurious blend crafted to highlight the cigar's Connecticut shade-forward flavor. Its balanced blend of well-aged Nicaraguan binder and filler tobaccos are all wrapped in a beautiful Connecticut shade wrapper leaf. This cigar is available in Robusto, Toro, and Churchill, only at Drew Diplomat online premium cigar retailers, presented in 20-count boxes. For more information, please visit drewestate.com. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would please help us out, put your hands together. Welcome back to How About That Cigar Live from Smoke Inn, Honest Abe Dababna. Welcome back to the show, brother.
Glad to be here, boys. Just curious, who wrote that copy for the Drew Estate?
I pulled that copy from the original press release, did a little paring down and editing so it wasn't a 5-minute long read, but that was pretty much paraphrased directly from the press release that they sent.
I'm just curious, what was the mystery?
I've always kind of wondered that too. I think the mystery basically was people always wondered if they were ever going to bring that cigar back.
And what happened?
It wasn't a mystery why it disappeared. It didn't sell. I mean, but that was the mystery. Nobody bought it. But let me tell you what. So I mean, this was Drew Estate's first venture outside of the infused cigars.
Right.
It was the first time. So I'm kind of actually looking forward to this release. I'm expecting a way better version than the original Chateau Real. So, I mean, even though I kind of just dug on it a little bit, I'm actually looking forward to trying this when it comes out.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's, I mean,
as the old Virginia Slims ads, they've come a long way, baby. So
they have come a long way.
We'll see what happens.
I sort of enjoyed that cigar back then, but I mean, this was 2004, 2005, somewhere in there when I started. Well, the first time I maybe smoked one of those cigars, and I think I don't know if I ever bought a box, but I bought a few fivers of that cigar and enjoyed it. But I've come a long way, baby.
We made I think 150. 50 or 60 count, like these chest boxes.
Yeah.
And I think 4 manufacturers were involved: Oliva, Rocky, Camacho, and Drew Estate. So they each made 20 cigars, I think, that went in this big chest. and we sold 150 of these, and they came with a medallion. This is our 10th anniversary, so this was 2006, and we gave away a Harley. So if you bought one of these chest boxes, you had a 1 in 50 chance of winning a Harley. And Chateau Real was they made a special version of Chateau Real that went in those 150 boxes.
Yeah.
In 2006. So, but yeah, I'm kind of really excited to see this come back and see how it is.
Yeah, I think from what I've heard from a few people that I trust at Drew Estate, the blend is definitely more refined than what it used to be. So
yeah, I just thought the word mystery was funny. Mysteriously disappeared. I didn't know. Maybe there was a story I didn't know about.
Aliens took them.
Aliens. It was aliens, definitely.
Always aliens.
Abe, what are you smoking?
A Sin.
Nice.
Great stick.
Sin.
Great stick.
So good. So good. Justin, what are you smoking?
The Drew Estate M81 blackened.
M81 blackened. Raul, what do you got?
I am going to be smoking apostate here. The Desiree.
Did you say you're going to be smoking your prostate? What he said, I missed it. I got bad sound out here.
No.
Oh yeah, is that how the show's going to go?
Have you heard of apostate cigars yet, Abe?
I'm messing with him.
He's fucking with it.
It's going to be on tonight.
Oh boy.
Well, I just finished. So that's Davidoff Grand Cru.
Yeah,
correct?
I'm just finishing that.
Yeah, I just finished a Plasencia Cosecha 149. I'm gonna fire up a cigar of the year, Tatuaje Tuxtla Lomo de Cerdo.
Hey, how about that cigar?
How about that cigar? Cigar of the year. And I think I'm gonna fire that up right now.
And by the way, I've been hanging out with you a lot lately.
I've been
and every time I see you got one of them damn things in your hand.
Hey, there's a reason why I picked it number one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just a fluke. You know, there's a reason I picked it number one. Here's our good friend Saka Squatch right there. And this is I got to get this cigar fired up. So let's do that right now, guys, on the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Toast Cam. When lighting your cigar, it's important to be patient, pay close attention to detail, and focus on the tobacco. In the same way, Steve Saka brings those same qualities to the ultra-premium cigars of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Patience, close attention, and focus on the tobacco are the qualities that Saka and Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust have become known for. From Sober Mesa to Umbagog, Dunbarton has a blend that will fit your palate, your mood, and any occasion. Visit DunbartonCigars.com to learn more. There we go. Yeah, you didn't even see my lips move. You know, I just realized actually, as I was listening to that playback, the music that I picked for the behind that read, I don't know. It's Abe. There's either one or two vibes I'm getting from the music behind that Dunbarton read, and I just realized it. It's either like Miami Vice or like 80s cop show vibes, or it's like soft porn Skinamax.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to listen to it a little bit again. I was enamored with the lighting. I'm like, is he gonna light that for the duration of this commercial? And then I was impressed that you didn't try to do a live read and that you actually had audio background to it. You came out a little bit more, but so I was watching a lot of things and totally missed the background music.
Well, I gotta say, Abe, the reason that that's not a live read and that that's pre-recorded is because the last time Saka was on the show, he gave me so much shit for the way that I read it because my eyes kept darting back and forth from the camera to the screen so I could actually focus on the words.
I liked it. It was a good touch. Touch.
Yeah, that was.
I think his words were, "It's what? That's what I'm freaking paying for."
He did.
And then the power went out.
And then
right after that,
then the power went out, and Saka's like, "What the fuck am I doing on this show?"
Gorgeous.
Oh, nice.
That's a wonderful cigar.
Oh, so good. So first couple puffs, what do you think of that apostate cigar?
It's tasty.
Yeah, nice.
It's tasty.
Nice. So Abe, before we get into talking about the Great Smoke, and there's a lot of stuff to cover there, we're really excited for this event. But
the Great Smoke.
The Great Smoke. I apologize.
Yeah, you've heard of that, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Dude, we are so far up the Great Smokes ass right now.
Well, we
it's
want
going to be a long
you,
4 or 5 weeks.
We want to give you at least a few minutes of a break from talking about the Great Smoke before we actually dive headfirst into it, and get your thoughts on something else in the cigar industry that happens around this time of year. Go ahead.
I have one question before we get into cigar stuff.
Uh-oh.
Did your son learn his basketball skills from you?
So actually I was a good baller, believe it or not. In my early 20s, when I was working in the grocery business with my father, I played 5-on-5 5 nights a week for about 2 years straight.
Nice.
Yeah, so I didn't play it in high school. I just got too big by my sophomore year. But always a good player and played it for most of my adult life. So I'd like to say he got it mostly from me, but at the age he's at now and the age I'm at now, my maneuverability isn't there to educate him. I'm really good at giving him the fundamentals, where he should be, whatever. And I tell you what, this is his second season playing, and they made the playoffs. And like last year, it was so rough watching him. They had a terrible coach, and I just wanted to walk on the court and like take over the practice. He just wasn't teaching the kids nothing. And it's really funny because at that age, they don't keep score, they don't call much, so it's nothing really to watch, really. And during the practices, our team would be on one half, and every now and then there'd be another team coaching. And I literally caught this other team doing their practice once or twice. And I looked at those two coaches, like, fucking look at these guys. These guys are like solid coaches. Why couldn't my son end up, with a coach like that? And I'm going to tell you what, man, when they did the draft and I went to the first practice, it was those two guys. They coached them this year.
Yeah.
I tell you what, they did an amazing job. I love their coaching skills. It was such a great year compared to last year. So I think more of the education as far as physical moving around has been done by the coaches. But I worked with him like at least 1 to 2 days a week, just on fundamentals and stuff and strategy. They just don't understand even like how to direct pass if you get beat. Like my son wants to chase a guy behind his ass. No, bro, you drop back and you cut the line and stuff like that. We'll teach him, but it's been a great year. I've loved it. I loved it. And he starts flag football next month.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
My son played. He's 22 now, but he played one season of basketball in 8th grade, and the first game that they played, and this is a tiny little charter school. I'm talking like senior graduating class of like 30 people. So the first game they played was at a pretty big school down north of Minneapolis, suburb called Fridley here. And this school was pretty big school compared. I mean, they barely had enough guys in my son's school to fill out the 10-man roster. And so they get to this big school to play their very first game of the season. And I still have a picture of it somewhere in my Google Photos saved. The final score was 98-2.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
98-2. And they didn't call it. I mean, halftime comes along and the coaches on both sides are like, no, let's keep playing. And at this point, at halftime, it was something like 68-0. And they said, no, let's keep playing. And everybody's like, okay, I guess we're going to keep this going. I mean, I felt
keep this abuse going.
I felt like maybe Mike McCarthy did yesterday. I don't know.
Hey, did you play any sports in high school?
High school, I played football 4 years. And we were state finalists, so it was a good year. We had 7 shutouts out of 9 games. I played the defensive tackle, nose guard. So that was my shtick. In grammar school, I played soccer, soccer and basketball. We didn't have football in grammar school, which was really kind of rough my freshman year because I went to a Catholic high school, and it was called the East Suburban Catholic Conference, and it was one of the hardest conferences in the state because the Catholic grammar schools had a contact football program. So I literally became a freshman in high school. I never put on a pair of pads. I was too big at Pop Warner, like at birth. So, like, I literally never put on a pair of pads. And these kids were all been hitting each other, whacking each other for like 3 years already. So, our conference was a really solid conference in the state.
Nice.
Yeah, my high school set records for longest consecutive losing streak. And then the year after I graduated, they won sectionals, and then 2 years later they won state in their class. So
we won city 3 out of the 4 years I was in high school. I played football.
It was kind of cool. A couple of years ago, maybe, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, maybe after COVID a little bit. Yeah, maybe it wasn't that long ago, but yeah, around 3-4 years ago. We were in Chicago. I took my oldest 2 daughters to my high school,
nice.
and my son, and you know, they have the trophy cases and whatever, all the big things happen, and they have our team there from the year because we were state finalists and whatnot. So they got to see me and my team in the high school case, and you know, from 1989.
Wow, so cool.
It was pretty cool.
Well,
now let's talk cigars.
So one of the things that happens this time of year,
we freeze our balls off.
Besides
not me, brother. I'm sweating. Listen, I'm literally sitting outside so I can smoke instead of doing it inside. I got this nice setup, this brace, this light, and everything. And I'm like, God dang, I'm sweating out here. It's warm. It's warm for January here in Florida. I can't believe it. Because right to my left is typically a fan during the summer months. And now it's the heater, you know, that I turn on, and it gets a little too chilly at night. Goodness. And I'm like, God damn, I wish the fan was here still up.
Let me hold this up here for you.
No, bro. No, sir.
-5 right now.
That's why I moved to Chicago. No, sir.
Yeah, it is no fun.
You know part of our pain then if you're living in Chicago. You know part of the weather.
Yeah,
26 years, bro.
You remember what it was like.
Shoveled enough snow for a few lifetimes.
Yeah. Well, so one of the besides us freezing our balls off up here during this time of year, one of the other things that's inevitable, whether it's right before the end of the year or right after the first of the year, is you start seeing the barrage of Cigar of the Year lists. And whether it's us or whether it's How About That Cigar or Cigar Coop or Cigar Dojo, Half Wheel, Blind Man's Puff, Cigar Aficionado, everybody comes out with their lists around this time. So because you wear many hats in the industry, Abe, but you know, from just an overall standpoint, what are your thoughts on the lists, the way they are now, the way the whole thing has kind of changed over the years? Because it really just used to be, you know, maybe Cigar Aficionado and a couple of blogs, and now there's YouTube channels, there's TikTok people, there's it's just absolutely blown up how many people are out there putting out.
Everybody and their mother has a list.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts overall on what's good about people putting out lists? What's bad about it? I don't
really think there's anything bad about people putting out lists.
Okay.
You know, everybody has their own opinion, but you know, lists, reviews, it's all opinionated stuff. And if your opinion sucks and continually sucks, people are going to stop listening to you and watching what you do. So it's almost a Darwinistic evolution, but I think it's great. Look, I've never been a fan of CA's list because to me, it just doesn't make sense.
Okay.
It really makes absolute sense. Why is a cigar that's been out for 30 years making your top 25? Can you imagine the Oscars if they just gave an award out every year, but for the lifetime of movies?
Yeah.
You know? So the people who made year lists, but really only covered cigars that came out that year, for me, is obviously the more logical sense and the way to go. So that dynamic would have never happened if people didn't start reviewing cigars on their own, doing their own thing. So that was really cool to see. And the diversity of it is, I like when people get bent out of shape over somebody else's list. I don't understand that. It's just like a movie critic. Growing up, I pretty much, if I wanted to know if a movie was good or get some feedback if I should go see a movie, I would listen to Roger Ebert. For me, he was the guy of movie reviews. And mostly because when he reviewed a movie and I went and watched it, that's exactly how I felt.
Yeah.
If I'm reviewing a cigar or rating a cigar and I say this and this, and the populace doesn't agree with me 95% of the time, no one's going to listen to me anymore. So if you're good at what you do, you'll get a following of people who agree with your opinions. And that's all these lists are, pretty much just opinions. It's one of the reasons why, like, even with KMA, even with our website or our company, like, there are retailers out there who put their own top lists and whatever. And look, when I see those lists, I could see half of them are based to drive sales for a certain brand or something. So sometimes the ingenuineness is apparent, but I never engage in that, because no matter what I say, I always feel like, well, half the people are going to think I'm really good at what I'm doing. Half the people are going to really think I suck. So why bother?
Yeah.
Why bother at that point? So, oops, sorry, there was something on my thing.
Oh,
so why bother? Why bother at that point? So,
yeah.
But I think it's good. I think the more content that's out there for our culture, for our fans, for cigar smokers to read, it is never a bad thing. People are just going to get filtered out to pretty much where they are. When bloggers started, I mean, look, when I got into it early. As soon as I saw there were blogs and guys doing reviews, I remember I used to like advertise on a lot of them. I was a heavy supporter early on because I loved the medium. I loved having a medium, something other than CA. And my deal was if we took an ad or did something with you, was the evergreen date was always March 1st or May 1st. So if we joined like in the middle of the year, we pay you through May 1st and then review, because I didn't want to renew these like every other month. So I knew one time a year, all our advertising and sponsorships would get paid. But I'll tell you what, 10% of the people that we used to deal with when it first started are still around, maybe even less. I mean, there's a lot of new guys, but I'm going to say not even 10%, maybe 10% of who less. Now I'd say probably closer to 6.
Yeah.
Of the people that we were renewing annually with back then are gone.
Yep.
So, it's, look, but Coop knows, right? To do this is a lot of work. And nobody's really doing this for a living, full-time living, I believe. So they got some real job. And then you got a guy like Coop who's got like 3 shows a week. You guys do 1 or 2?
Just 1.
Okay, just 1. And you look at that. And then if you have a blog or you're doing any other kind of writing, man, it's a lot of work. So you got to really love what you're doing to continually do this for any long period of time. I mean, look, KMA's now, I think it's 12 or 13 years now. This is our 13th year. And it's like, haven't had a Saturday morning now almost. I mean, regularly. Like we take 2 weeks off around Christmas and we miss a few here and there, but we haven't had Saturday mornings for 13 years.
Yeah.
Who does that unless you really love what you're doing? So we love getting up and bullshitting every Saturday morning. So I think for most of us, it's almost like our therapy on Saturday morning. So you really got to love what you're doing. So I like it. I'm glad there are bloggers out there. I don't think anybody should really be taking these things to heart or being serious. Either you agree with the guy's opinion or you don't. Move on.
Right.
But the guys that want to comment or make a big ordeal about it, that I don't get.
Yeah. It's in the end of the day, it's all subjective. Every list is subjective and based on the palates of the people who are doing the reviews.
Do you find that once these lists come out, does it help your shop at all? Do you see a pickup in orders?
No.
Okay.
I mean, look, for the most part, because there's so many of them, so whose list is coming up who, right? There are certain guys whose lists get a lot more notoriety, a lot more exposure. And their lists probably we see a little pickup on their top ones. But I mean, it's nothing like hugely dramatic. It's nothing compared to like what a CA #1 used to do 10, 15 years ago. It doesn't even have that impact today anymore like it used to. I remember as soon as I found out what the #1 cigar is, I wouldn't waste time calling to put in an order. We would call the company. I think one year was like Alec Bradley when Tempest was #1. Like we called them. Do you have them in the warehouse? Yeah. Okay. We're putting in a 50 or 60 box order. I'm sending somebody there now.
Yeah.
Because I knew that if they just said, yeah, we'll take my 60 box order, and everybody started ringing the company throughout the day, before that box got shipped, it was going to be 15 boxes.
Yeah.
Because they would say, "Oh, just take some break. He took a lot." Anyway, I'm like, "No, dude, my guy will be there in about 42 minutes. Have my 60 boxes ready." So, I mean, that's how big it used to be, but it doesn't even have that kind of impact like it used to. But it's all good. Listen, it's all positive. It takes a lot of ingredients to make a dish, and it's all positive ingredients as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So and I agree with what you're saying. That I remember for so many years shops that were local to me when that Cigar Aficionado issue came out. And I mean, this is even before a lot of people were spending time on the internet reading Cigar Aficionado, when pretty much everybody who read it read the hard copy.
Right.
You know, and then they get it in the mail. I would get mine in the mail, see what the #1 cigar of the year was, and, you know, either start calling local shops or, you know, start driving around. And yeah, sure as shit, you know, back in the early days of their list, the shops were placing huge orders for these cigars. And now, I mean, obviously last year was an exception because it was a Cuban cigar that was #1. But aside from that, in the last 5 years, I mean, I've seen shops place orders, but nothing massive.
I'll tell you what, if you're going back to Alec Bradley Tempest, right? Which you know, Alan Rubin was very public about how they botched that up.
Yeah, he was really honest about it.
Very honest about how they tried to meet the demand and botched it up in Rush Cigar. But I'm not sure what year that is, but I'll guess I'm probably 5 to 6 times bigger of a company today than I was then.
Yeah.
I don't order as much now.
Right.
I order a fraction for a #1 CA than I did back then. Yeah.
Yeah. Even small shops here, instead of ordering, you know, 6 to 10 boxes, they're ordering 2. You know, when a cigar gets #1, they're ordering 2 boxes instead of, you know, 6 or 10.
Right.
Hey, what did you think about having Cubans on that list?
I mean, look, the Cuban thing was a big, like, through most of my early cigar smoking days, it was the big mystery, the big, you know, chase, the big thing. And, you know, I'm very confident that CA, part of their duty is to keep that psychology going, because they feel if it ever opens up here, it's going to be another big revival or renaissance. But I don't think it should be rated. You know, I don't know. I mean, look, here's the thing. I don't know if Cigar Aficionado, how much of it is an international magazine. You know, if it's an international magazine, then yeah, you throw it in the mix, and that's the way it is. So then, yeah, I guess so. But I mean, you know, to rate a cigar that's not easily accessible, I don't see one Cuban cigar ad in their magazine. I just think, but part of their job is to keep that dream going. It's like, you know, when I grew up, Coors beer was like, I remember my neighbors coming back with a van that was full of Coors Light because, you know, it was this mystique. They never sold it east of the Rockies. And,
yeah,
you know, as soon as it became an open thing, it's just another beer. And me personally, there's zero level of excitement for me for a Cuban cigar. Like, there's no chase. Sometimes even I'm an international, don't care to go find them. But if I come across one, it's like any other cigar to me. Mm-hmm. I'll smoke it, and either I like it or I don't like it. You know, and you know, I don't mind to smoke them. I'm just there's so many. I mean, let's really, in my opinion, I mean, the majority of the great cigars are not being made there anymore, in my opinion. So why that lure of chasing something that you can't get, that left me a long time ago.
Yeah, same.
I agree with you. Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're not bad. I'm not saying they're good. There's just no need for me to jump hurdles when I have so much great shit so readily accessible. What's the point? I think for the most part, it's lateral goodness. It's not like I'm going up and climbing a Mount Everest of difference. It's at best a lateral goodness. So why am I jumping hurdles for a lateral goodness? I'll just select from this cornucopia of great shit that's available to me every day.
Yeah. And you know that so much of what's already surrounding you on any given day, cigar wise, you're going to enjoy it a lot more than, and I'm not saying there's zero chance. I'm just saying the odds are so much better that you're going to enjoy something that you're surrounded by every day more than you would enjoy a Cuban cigar brand that you searched for 6 months and overpaid for and waited for customs and blah, blah, blah.
And then you got to fight, and it's not a secret, the probability of quality control and construction.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
you can still have a great cigar, but things plug, doesn't draw, and you're poking it 8,000 times. What's the point?
Yeah. 10 out of the 20 are good, are smokable.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. Yeah. Well, the Great Smoke 2024 is man, it's what, 5 weeks away. So how are you holding up? How's the team holding up?
I don't know. I feel like we're
ahead.
I feel like we're ahead in so many areas and behind in so many areas. It's just there's no, everybody thinks they're like, oh, you've done this so many years and it's got to be so. No, man, there's never a sense of I feel ready ever.
Yeah,
it's always fighting a deadline. I always feel like I'm behind. And part of it is we keep changing it, trying to make it better. So, the big change after 18 years is, there's not going to be a coupon book. No one's going to have to go around and get cigars this year, which is a big change.
Yeah.
It's a big change for logistics for us. It's a big change in how the event will go. The live participants will probably have anywhere from an extra 45 minutes to an hour that they would have wasted waiting around all the tables to get their event cigars. It's all gonna come pre-packed.
Yeah.
So that was a big change for us this year. So there was a lot of logistics in that. And I don't know if did you have a chance to upload any of those images?
Yeah, we've got them set up in StreamYard, ready to pop.
Okay, perfect. So put up the picture of the package, right? So we got a picture of the package here, and this is what you get with your ticket. No, not that one. The full.
The Party Pack Center.
Got it.
There we go.
That one. So this is what you get with your live or virtual event. If you get this with a live ticket, you'll be handed this at the moment of check-in before you enter the building. If you're watching virtual, participating virtual, this package will be shipped to your home in mid-February. So normally when you would show up, you would have gotten all the other trinkets and stuff, and then you get a coupon book and all those 32 premium cigars. You'd have to walk to each individual company, hand them a ticket, and get that. Now this year, you can put up that picture. We got this cool party pack. So this is all self-contained. You got your commemorative ashtray. We got a cool little Chinese drum, a commemorative cutter, a commemorative lighter, the commemorative shot glass. It's all in that top layer. And then all your cigars will be in the 2 drawers underneath. This will be handed to you at check-in or shipped to your home this way. And that's a big thing this year.
I mean, that's next level. Honestly, that packaging, that is next level shit.
Can you imagine 18 years later and we still keep going? I mean,
hey, you keep evolving.
You don't stop.
I'm telling you, I say this every year. And I think the only reason why 18 years later I can still say this with confidence is the track record's been good, because I say this is going to be the best year ever. And I really feel it's going to be the best year ever, man. We got a lot of shit going on. And look, let's face it, the Dragon Chinese New Year theme has got a lot to play with.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this year. I'm excited about the packaging. I'm excited to see how this ticket book thing, removing it, goes. Either it's going to be catastrophic or it's going to be brilliant. One or the other. But yeah, it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure on the team. It's a lot of, it made it worse when after COVID, we made the decision to continue doing it virtually, because now it's literally putting on 2 different events at the same time.
Exactly.
So, had we just listen, the digital experience, historic moment in our cigar industry. As far as I'm concerned, smoking will never get as much credit as they deserve, as they will deserve.
I agree.
For what that accomplished that year. I've said it before, if I knew in advance how difficult and what we were going to pull off, I would have done a documentary and hired a crew to follow us at least the last 30 to 45 days before we went live. But when we made the decision after that, based on consumer emails, we got emailed by hundreds of people saying this was amazing. I could never leave my house, come to an event, do this. So when we made the decision to do both simultaneously at the same time, it basically is like throwing 2 events. You have what's going on there live, and you have the whole Michael Herklotz, Kim Keeney, And Paul DeGracco, as long as his wife doesn't have a baby that week, because she's due sometime around that time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they'll be handling the virtual side of things. And it's literally 2 events. And what made it cool was a lot of people now who come every year, if they can't come, now they have that option. I can't tell you how many people who couldn't make it this year who messaged me, but they got a virtual ticket. They're going to participate. And even the people who come live now, it's become very customary. They'll go home and watch the 5-hour broadcast because for them, it's a totally different experience. They get to experience the event again in a different way because when you're there live, you're not conscious of what's being broadcast to people at home. You know, we have a side stage that Michael Herklotz is typically on, and outside of the entertainment that goes on the main stage and the 3 interviews, everything else, no one there live really is kind of involved. So it's a whole different experience. So it became 2 events, but yeah, my gut and everything's going is this is going to be the best year ever.
I love it.
Do you have information on how many virtual passes are left and how many live packets are left?
So normally the GOAT puts a report on my desk every Monday. I was out of town last Monday, and today I actually spent all day at the warehouse. So I don't know, but I will tell you this. Ticket sales. So last year, virtual tickets took 26 hours to sell out. The VIP tickets. This year, it took 90 minutes, less than 90 minutes to sell out. Yeah.
For VIP tickets, wow.
Yeah, less than 90 minutes compared to 26 hours. And the year before that, it was about 38 days. So in 3 years, it's gone from 38 days to 26 hours to less than 90 minutes to sell out. All our other ticket sales, everything, some of them sold out already and gone, but everything, I think it's the first year the brunch was sold out, like literally in December ever. We sold out 3 or 4 room blocks at 2 or 3 different hotels. And all the ticket sales are way ahead of last year, except for virtual, because virtual was my concern because, we don't do a chintzy production. It's a big production.
Yeah, it's major.
And it's very expensive. So based on the first year of virtual tickets, because they sold out so fast, it was coming right off the digital experience. Our second year was a lot less. It was about almost 7% less.
Okay.
So I got concerned because that's where I'm getting the budget for the broadcast.
Yeah.
If there ain't enough virtual tickets, there ain't no virtual broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
So you had 2022, which was epic. 2023 was a little disappointing. All our numbers this year, every check, the virtual tickets have been ahead of last year. So, it looks like we're committed to at least one more year of doing it because the numbers are going to be better than last year. But I don't know the exact number of what's left. But I tell you what, the last time I looked at it, I literally said, virtual tickets will probably sell out. But this is the first year in the history of the event we may not have tickets available at the door.
Okay.
Because there's always a handful of 50 or 100 tickets that usually will sell out at the door that day. I do not believe we'll have tickets available at the door at the rate they've been going.
Okay. That's a good problem to have, though.
That's awesome.
So one of the other things that is really cool about this event is there's, it's not just the main event that happens on Saturday. There's other events, and some are VIP events, some are additional, charge events, but then there's also just the smoke-in locations, whether it's Boynton Beach or other locations that people just get together during that weekend and hang out and smoke and talk and drink. And it's a great time. So, aside from just kind of those impromptu herfs, at your smoke-in locations, let's talk through some of the other sort of additional events that are outside of the main event on Saturday. Like Eric Espinosa is doing the tailgate, I believe.
So when we did it the first 2 years, there that is. We didn't really have any other event. It was just a 5-hour thing.
Yeah.
So I got a call one time. I think it was a guy in Boston. I'm pretty sure. I was working late. It was about 9:30 at night. He calls me up. He says, "Look, I'm reading this thing and I'm coming down from Boston. what else you got going on? And I had no idea. Like, you're supposed to have other events. Like, what do you mean? What else is going on? He's like, oh, we're flying. We're coming down there. Is that it? It's only 5 hours? I'm like, yeah. We kind of designed this to be a local event. We weren't really expecting people to fly in from all over the country. But the guy came down. And the guy came down. He had such a great time. He says, I'm coming back next year with 3 of my friends. So that very next year, we had the first after party. And that was it for a couple of years. You had the main event and an after party. And it just kept evolving. So last year was the first tailgate party ever, which now it's going to be even bigger this year. And that's with the Cigar Distinguished Ruffians and Eric Espinosa. And that was the image you just showed right there. Yep. First time ever. This year he's having a DJ outside. That's how these things start. They start with an idea and a concept, and they just keep growing. So this is going to be a big thing this year, the tailgate party. And that was the first edition in a long time. You thought you couldn't add more. And this year we added a Elijah Craig whiskey flight tasting, a VIP tasting. It was only limited to 40 people because some of the booze they're bringing is very allocated. So there really isn't enough spots to have a lot more people. But that's why we did it on Thursday during the day, right before the first event, because not everybody has arrived yet from where they're coming. But yeah, people will start coming in Tuesday, even Wednesday. Our first event is the Elijah Craig tasting in the afternoon. I think it's 4, and it rolls right into an event with Blackwork Studios, which this is their first year in the Great Smoke and their involvement, and they're kicking it off. So it's pretty crazy. Then we roll into Friday night, which we have 2 epic things. We usually have a dinner at the fairgrounds. 200 feet of table, not 200 feet of table, 8 times 25. Yeah, 200 feet of table. 200 people seated, both sides, as long as you could see. And the Red Meat Lovers Club throws an amazing dinner every year. And it comes with usually a pack made by the manufacturer. This year it's Henderson Ventura of ADV Cigars. So everybody at the event will be getting 3 nice cigars and a carrying case map that he makes. And that's all included with your ticket price. And that's Friday night. But at the same time, because only a couple hundred people can go there, we throw a big event in our headquarters in Boynton Beach.
Yeah.
And it'll be hosted by Nick Perdomo this year, right the night before the party. Then Saturday morning, we have the tailgate. That rolls right into the Great Smoke. Then Saturday night, McAuliffe Cigars is doing a party at our headquarters in Boynton Beach. And then we roll into a nice sweet finale of Sunday morning with a brunch with all you can drink mimosas and Bloody Marys. So this is part of our special releases. So that's something that also started in the Great Smoke, the digital experience. So I knew when I was coming up with a digital experience that most people were going to comprehend what my final result was going to be, because the few people who did virtual events did it like we do KMA, like you're doing your show. It's a flat, multiple screens, and that wasn't what I wanted to do. So I really tried to say, okay, I need to really kind of hype this up, because if we're going to put all this effort into it, I need people that want to do this and be involved. So it was my idea to start reaching out to manufacturers that first year, and it was Carlito Fuente, Nick Perdomo, Terrence Riley, Steve Saka, Rocky Patel, and Pete Johnson. 6 companies.
Yeah.
And I think we made like 300 of each, except Fuente only made 100, I believe. And they all sold out like in 5 minutes. Crashed our site 6 times during the broadcast. And I even said, wow, poor Terrence Riley, I think he went last. Who's going to buy his? They just 5 guys just sold out, and it sold out like in 10, 12 minutes. It was insane.
Yep.
So we continued that for the next few years, and we bumped it down to, I think, 5, and this year to only 3. And one of the things when we were trying to conceptualize, can we do this live and virtual at the same time, was we only get like 300 of these typically. How am I going to figure out how to do this for live people and virtual? Because I got to make sure the inventory is right. You can't oversell it. You can't fuck up. And how do you know where to allocate it? If I sell too many virtual and I'm stuck with a bunch live. So it was Alex who actually came up with the idea that we do them before the Great Smoke. Yeah. This way, whether you have a virtual ticket or you have a live ticket, we just host them before. And I thought that was a great idea, because one of the things I noticed in digital experience was, holy cow, these guys were going after every one. And it's really a big spend for a lot of people. And then they're still taking part in some of the offers and deals of the day. So to be able to spread it out, your purchases over the course of 2 or 3 months, I thought was also brilliant too, and be a lot easier for people who wanted to really try to walk away with a lot of limited stuff. So we had 3 releases this year. Steve Saka, who's been doing it every year since the digital experience. JC Newman, my first time I got to work with Drew Newman and the fine folks over there, kind of cool. And Drew Estate, who I've had a lot of work with in the past. And they bought back the Ming name for this underground version of that they called Ming. So we have a drop. We already did on January 3rd, the Steve Saka one. This Wednesday, so the day after tomorrow, we're dropping the JC Newman one. I don't know if you have a graphic of that.
Oh, yeah, the Dragonfire.
Yes, so this is kind of cool. They came up with the name on their own, and this is a different blended box version press of Brickhouse, because none of them are box pressed. And they left this really long, shaggy foot, which kind of looks like Dragonfire. It was kind of a cool concept. So this was a very cool release. There'll be 300 boxes of these only, and they're only available to those participating in the Great Smoke. That's why we don't do big runs, because it's not to our full customer list, our full audience. It's just, these are people, just special things we had made for those who are participating in Great Smoke. That drops this Wednesday, and then 2 weeks later, we'll be dropping the one from Drew Estate. They happen at 6 p.m. live. We do a broadcast usually from the manufacturer. So Drew Newman is going to be on with us this Saturday, and someone from Drew Estate will be on with us this Wednesday. Someone will be on with us the following 2 Wednesdays after that. And during that broadcast, after we talk to the manufacturer, we open up the sales live, and they go. And I think the Dunbarton one sold out like in a day. And, we'll see how the next 2 goes. But that is also a new component that wasn't around for the majority of the Great Smoke history.
Yeah. Well, and those, I know, even myself being at the Great Smoke 2 years ago, having the opportunity to get some of those exclusives. I mean, I had to really play Tetris with my luggage on the way home just to fit all the cigars in there that I bought, in addition to just what came in the event pack. I probably bought another 6 boxes of cigars or something.
Well,
to come home with.
The savings that day are pretty substantial,
and they are.
So if I think most people kind of gotten the idea they save up money because they can buy in and get really good deals, and most of the manufacturers come with some pretty cool like gifts and add-ons. So not only are you getting a really substantial deal on the cigars that day, you're getting some cool free gifts. And even for those at home, so we do our drops. They can't come to our regular website to buy it. We have a special store that you enter through the TGS, the Great Smoke website. And if you have a ticket, whether it's live or virtual, the website knows once you log in, it lets you in the store. And that's where we do our drops. And then the day of the Great Smoke, you'll have all 32 deals from all the 32 manufacturers. So even if you're at home, you can still partake in a lot of the good deals that are going on for the day.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I mean, you're totally right about not just the deals and the deals are pretty extraordinary, but also, for people who really dig swag, and I know a lot of people out there in the cigar community love their swag, there's extras with some of these purchases that people can take advantage of, whether it's, travel humidors or lighters or cutters, from the brands that, people have come to know and love. It's a great time to be able, and a lot of this stuff, if you're only going to be able to get this from, a Great Smoke ticket and making your purchases through the website, unless you're able to go to, a cigar event for one of these brands. And if you live in an area that, doesn't really have cigar events, this is your chance to get your hands on some of this stuff.
What's kind of cool that we've been doing this so long is you're going to see this year, you're going to see some swag that's made by manufacturers that's Great Smoke branded.
Nice.
So it won't be stuff you won't be able to get at another event. And they're making some special packaging for the stuff they'll be selling there that's Great Smoke Year the Dragon branded. And I'm starting to see more and more of that happen, which I think is great, because for the people coming to an event, they're getting something really, really unique, because they won't be able to get it at another event or anywhere else. And their friends who didn't come to the event will be able to get that stuff. So to see that trend going on has been very cool.
Yeah. Well, and that shows a lot of because there's a lot of work and money that goes into, for any of these cigar companies to, have this swag designed, the design work and the production work that goes into having it printed or molded or whatever it is. That takes a lot. And for them to come up with a brand new line of swag that's specifically branded for your event, that shows a great level of trust. And that's the track record that you have over the years with this event, is that it's grown steadily and it's grown in a healthy way. And that really shows the trust that you have built with these brands, that they're gonna front the money to have this swag produced. They know they'll get it back on the back end once the sale's made at the register, but it still, in the end, that shows a great deal of trust. So you guys, your whole team should be extremely proud of that.
The trust of the great smoke from the manufacturer side was really, honestly, I mean, they really trusted me more than ever, was a digital experience.
Yeah.
Because I knew when I was talking to them, not one of them had a clue what the hell I was talking about. Yeah, are you going to do what? You're going to do it virtual? Yeah. None of them had a clue.
Yeah.
That was the real trust. The trust we now really fight for every day is not the manufacturers as much as now the consumers. Consumers got to trust coming back year after year. Look, one of the things I strive for, because I've traveled the country, I've been to about 5 or 6 multi-vendor events. I don't want to come to the same old event every year. It's just, to do the same thing every year over and over again gets tedious. So for us to go theme it now with these themes every year and literally creating a different physical experience in decor, in entertainment, in interaction, makes it a stunning new experience year after year. That was probably one of my best ideas ever, which happened on accident. It happened the year before the digital experience, where one of our graphic artists, so normally we would theme like the lanyards and the ticket book. So all the arts would have themes, like one year was all metal looking stuff, one year was all earth tones, whatever. So this year he was doing like all like galaxy, like space age stuff. But I was looking at the flyer and I literally said, "Oh, I like the disco globe in the background." He goes, "That's not a disco globe. It was like a outer space thing, Like, oh, it looks like a disco." I said, "Dude, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna theme it. We're gonna make it disco," and that's what we did, And that was our first themed event ever, and that was before the year right before the digital experience. So we did a disco event. "Can you dig it?" was our tagline, and that went off great. And then we had the digital experience, and working with that team and seeing sets being built gave me a lot of insight of what's going on, and it really enabled us to come back to the last luau, where we got moved into the main expo hall of the South Florida Fairgrounds and really was able to build some cool decor. And then it rolled into, Mardi Gras madness. We had a huge smoking head up on stage. and I think we spent more on decor this year than any other year with the Year of the Dragon. It's the first year we have ceiling treatments. And that's a pain in the ass.
Oh, nice.
It's the Year of the Dragon. How you're not going to have ceiling treatments?
Yeah, you got to have that.
So yeah, it's a pain in the ass. But it's been fun. And theming, it's great because we already have the theme. So we're usually a couple of years out on themes.
Right.
Start shopping. So we're already like working on the swag for 2025. We are already working on the production video, because every year at the very end of the Great Smoke, if you're there live, you see it. If you watch it digitally, you could see it presented at the very end of the Great Smoke. We surprise everybody and tell everybody what the theme for the next year is going to be. So we're already working on that videography for that little 60-second snippet to release what the theme for 2025 is going to be. I think people are going to dig it.
Nice.
So we'll see.
Well, I do have a question about the venue, because, being at the event a couple of years ago, it is a really great venue for a cigar event. And I'm curious, because I know from other people who've put on, larger events, venues are really tricky, especially when it comes to smoking and things like that. So, are you guys really solid with the venue that you're currently working with? And what are, like, how do you work out contingency plans for if you find out that either next year or 2 years from now, you're going to have to look for a different venue?
Well, we're contracted already for 2025.
Okay.
And before this summer, I'll be contracted for 2026.
Yeah.
So we have time. There's a contingency plan, but we got really lucky. When I say lucky. So, this event started basically in the front courtyard of our West Palm Beach location. We had 2 years there. Then we expanded it to the side parking lot. And then as the years went by, we just took over more and more of the parking lot. So literally we took the whole east side of the complex. And we outgrew that. And we knew there was a big construction job coming in our shopping center. Like half it was going to get done. And we just knew the Great Smoke wasn't going to work there that year. So I was lucky enough to run into the American German Club where I knew they held Oktoberfest here, which is a big, 2 weeks long of thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So I thought we could do it there. We met with them. And it was good. I think we did it there for about 4 or 5 years. And then honestly, at the last minute, they had some kind of internal turmoil, and they just said they weren't going to allow it. And they were fighting the city on some issues, so they weren't going to let us do the event. And we really didn't know early enough on. So that put us in a tizzy. And one of the reasons why we never went to the fairgrounds was the fairgrounds does the South Florida Fair every year. It's actually going on right now. And, they have booths and people that sell stuff there. And we had talked to them about maybe getting a booth one year, but Smoke Free Florida was a big part and sponsor of the South Florida Fair.
Yeah. So
they weren't having it. So we started looking at other locations when we lost a German club. And I remember, man, it was a struggle. Because we didn't want anything too far away. We need something that we would be able to smoke in. We need something that could hold the people, that would have the parking. And I think our best option was 40 minutes away from where our headquarters is, maybe 45. And it was a real struggle, and we weren't even sure they could handle the parking. So I said, you know what? Let me try the South Florida Fairgrounds. What could it hurt? I literally called them out of the blue, and they had no idea what we're talking about. But we took the 2 outdoor buildings they had. It's called the Agriplex.
Yeah.
And not only did they do a great job of putting it together, they loved it. Their team loved it. In fact, their board of directors all came down, and now they make sure they get tickets every year. So they're amazing, and they love us. And as long as there's not a major regime change, I think we're going to be there for a long time. And I don't think we could ever outgrow the South Florida Fairgrounds. So we're in very good shape there, and the real people in charge love the event. It's a friendly and fun event, man. They come in, they see thousands of people having a great time. They love it. Yeah. So they've been really good working with us. And then let me see here. So when we were doing the Mardi Gras Madness, was it? The last luau. When we were doing the last luau, they messaged me in December, and they said, hey, how would you like to move your event from the Agriplex buildings, which were 2 buildings outside, to the main expo hall? And this is in December, and the event's 2 months away. And I'm like, I could just tell by the tone of the call. I'm like, are you asking me? Are you telling me?
Right.
That was literally my response to him. He's like, yeah, I'm kind of telling you. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You got a contract for a year. He's like, well, read clause number 17.4. He had it ready. He had it ready before the phone call. He's like, we can relocate you, but it's a better venue. We're not going to charge you more money. I was like, dude, I already got this floor plan laid out for 2 buildings. I have to redo the floor plan completely. All right. It took me 17 hours to redo the floor plan to figure out how to make the 2 buildings fit in one. Because even though the total square footage is about the same, because the main expo, you're losing 4 walls, extra walls of space to cover shit in.
Yeah.
So it was really complicated to redo it. And I said, yeah, well, after we do it, because the other concern was there's no smoking in that building.
Yeah.
I said, are you going to let us smoke in there? She's like, yeah, absolutely. I said, you sure? Yeah. I said, okay. I said, after this event, I won't have to worry about it because they're never going to let us do that event inside that building ever again. That was my response. They're never, when they see what's going on, they will never let us smoke in that building again. That's where they do Barrett Jackson and every major expo they have there. So sure enough, the event's over, and after the event, I said, "Fuck it." I know it costs a lot more money.
Mm-hmm.
Just the air conditioning for a day in that building is ridiculous. I said, this event can't get moved out of here. If I move this event back outside, it's going to look like it went from Broadway to the ghetto. Back to the ghetto. I mean, I just, no way. We just got to do it here next year. So I literally went up and I asked him, I said, hey, listen, what do you think the odds are that we could do the event again in the main expo? I'm like, sure, no problem. I'm like, wow, great.
Love it.
The only problem we found out is like February and March is like our biggest booking months. That's why I got to book like 2 years ahead.
Yeah.
Make sure we get our dates. So that's how that works. So yeah, I think we're confident. Out of all the things that can go haywire, losing the venue is lower on the list than many other things.
Yeah. Well,
thank God.
And you said it yourself. You have an idea for a future, maybe 2026 or 2027. The Great Smoke back to the ghetto.
No. No.
You can do what Eric V says. You can do a Havana Nights outside. There you go.
No. We did almost try to do a bonfire one night at the fairgrounds. We've had a couple ideas that we never got to pan out properly, and a lot that do. But what's nice about where I'm currently at is we're in the main expo hall. They have a west hall that's literally attached. So I have 35,000 square feet readily available when I need it. The problem is everybody's like, oh, well, take it now. I can't really take it now. I have to wait to the point where all ticket sales sell out like in a week or two, where I know there's a demand for at least another 500 to 600 people.
Yeah.
Because I can't book an expense of another hall for like an extra 150 tickets. 200. It's got to be at least like probably closer to 750 more. Then we'll be ready to the hall. At the rate we're going, honestly, I'm going to guess it could be 2 to 3 years away. Yeah.
The growth has been pretty impressive.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm curious about, I want you to think back through the years of the Great Smoke, and I want you to think of one event that sticks out, or one sort of special, whether it was a special event or a special entertainment or a special activity that you had all planned out and everybody was excited for, and it just didn't quite work. It didn't pan out. Maybe it fell flat, or maybe, have you had any of those special activities planned that maybe should have been left on the cutting room floor? Because I've been involved in big events like that before.
And we've done a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Bull riding, dunk tanks, cash machines. I really can't say. I really can't, thinking about all the shit we've done over the years. I can't say any of them were done.
That's
fantastic. The only reason why we moved on from something is like we did it 2 years in a row, and that's it. Yeah. Of course, I can't say any of them are dud, but like I can tell you, like we did something one year, we didn't do it again. Was we had a guy do like a casino in there. So we had craps, blackjack. I don't know what else he had, and they kept points and records, and they won prize where. That we didn't do it again because some people fucking never left.
Oh,
they went in that shit, never came out ever again. So yeah. It wasn't that it was a bad, nobody liked it, but it was like they liked it too much. Like they didn't participate in anything else in the show. So that was the 1 year that we just cut it. We didn't do it again. But that was the only really thing I could think about. Everything else always did very, very well. Thank God.
That's really cool. I mean, I've been part of events before where we plan down to the detail, just like you guys do. And one little activity that you plan, and it just turns out to be falls flat on its face. So I'm grateful that you guys haven't had to deal with that before. It's not fun when that happens.
I mean, look, we take chances.
Oh,
I didn't know what the tailgate party was going to do. I really didn't. I'm like, what do we got to lose? We throw it out there. We see how it goes, and it went great. And I know it's going to get crazier and crazier. It's one of those things I see it already evolving. In fact, that whole idea started because the year before we're working because we're there. Me and a team is there that whole week, starting from Monday morning till Saturday end of event, that whole week. And I'm walking outside to go get something from the car. I'm like, I see one car. I mean, this is the South Florida Expo Center. Parking lot's massive.
Yeah.
Nobody's there but us. And we're all parked right by the gate, by the bay door. I see one car. One car, two people sitting in lawn chairs. And they're drinking, a guy and his wife, and they're smoking cigars. I said, there is no way this dude is here tailgating by themselves. So I walk up to them, introduce himself. I recognize them from our smoking and social fair. I said, what are you doing? He says, we're tailgating. I said, you know the event's not till tomorrow. He's there a day early. He's like, we got nothing to do. I said, all right, fuck this. We're going live.
Yeah.
I go on a Facebook Live, and I literally said on the Facebook Live, watch. Because of this moment right now.
That's right. This
guy right here, I guarantee you there'll be a tailgate party next year. And someone reached out to me, Mitch from the Distinguished Ruffians, wanted to throw a tailgate party. And we did it last year. And I just from the turn, I couldn't even make it out there to see it. The tailgate party was something I witnessed absolutely nothing about. And I heard everybody had a great time. Everybody loved it. And it's even bigger this year. So, yeah, I mean, we've been blessed that everything's kind of really hit off well that we've done, so.
I love it.
You can have a better guy out there DJing with that event with tailgate as Espinosa.
Yeah.
He loves
as long as they don't let him sing 4-9 lines.
You know he's going to sing a few songs. That's given.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder, is
it time?
I think it's time.
All right.
All right, guys. It is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. Numero de los Muertos, brought to us by our friends at Smoke Inn. Abe, I have to tell you, every time I see that ad at the end of it with that flaming dragon, I see flaming dragon and I think, you remember the movie Tropic Thunder?
Yeah.
We are flaming dragon. Every time I see that, that's what I think of. I love that.
I get hungry after every time I hear it. I want to eat.
I'm really blessed. I'm gonna tell you, because while I was running my family business and I had the cigar distributing on the side in Chicago, I had my own graphics company for years.
Yeah.
So before I was able to hire graphic artists, I used to do all our own graphic works, everything. And man, I look at our own shit. I tell you what, man, I love my graphics team. It is such a blessing to have full-time graphics people. All they do is turn out art all day long. And it's just, it makes everything look so much nicer when you got graphics guy. And then the art they create, man, it always blows me away, man. I'm like, that is some pretty shit.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this week on Numero de los Muertos, once again, I'm sorry to do this to you guys, but the number is 1.
Fact or fiction?
This is real. It actually happened.
Real life, huh?
It happened in 1983 in the United States. One person died from this particular type of injury that led to his death, and it was in a very particular. The injury was very particular, but also the way that it happened was very particular.
Abe was playing nose guard and you ran over somebody and killed the quarterback?
I mean, seriously, dude, you more obscure thing this week?
I know.
Oh, man.
And Abe, the one you texted me a few months ago, I have tried so fucking hard
To find out?
I have spent hours on the internet trying to find like actual usable statistics about that, and I have come up dry.
I came up with something I thought would be a great.
It would be. I wish there was somebody that had like legitimate stats about that. And
So are you giving up? Should we tell people what it was?
No, I don't want to, because I have not given up hope.
Okay.
I still want to use that one.
I mean,
I remember because I told
Come on,
him if
tell
you
me.
ever use it or figure it out, text me. I never got it. I just thought maybe you forgot to text me.
No, I've been searching. It's just it's hard to find. But anyway, back to tonight's. One person died in 1983 from this.
not castration, right?
Not castration.
Or a stub toe.
Not a stub toe.
Okay.
This is going to be a William Cooper length show. I can tell that right now.
No, we got
No.
no.
So
Somebody got-
1983.
Guessing this is going to be impossible.
Somebody got stabbed in the eye with chopsticks.
No,
Crushed by a cow.
not crushed by
Are
a cow.
animals
Hold
involved?
on. Can we
Animals
ask a couple-
animals are not involved.
Okay.
Can we ask a couple questions? before
Yeah,
we
Yeah.
start?
but just
All right.
knock off.
Is it work related?
No,
Is it on land?
on land, yes.
Alcohol related?
Not alcohol related.
Are vehicles involved?
Vehicles are not involved.
Drugs?
No drugs are involved.
Tripped on a toddler?
Not tripped on a toddler. I will give you one. It's a recreational activity.
A recreational activity.
Yes.
Does it require multiple people?
Yes.
Is it ice fishing?
No.
Because we just had somebody die. Yes.
Does it have to do with jarts?
No. I will. I'll go one better than recreational activity. It's a sport that is
I was gonna ask that.
is also a recreational activity.
Play.
Is it done only in the summer?
For the most part, yes.
Okay.
Frisbee? I like that one.
Not frisbee.
Pogo?
Not pogo.
Golf?
Not golf.
Hit by a golf
Not
ball?
skiing.
Skiing.
No, it requires multiple people here. So let's think here.
Yeah.
Is it badminton?
No.
Tennis.
No, it's that other sport.
It's tennis.
It's tennis.
Tennis?
So Justin's on the right track. It's tennis.
All right.
How do you die playing tennis?
You have a
And
heart
it's-
attack overexerting yourself.
No.
No, not that.
He got tangled in the net.
No.
No.
Death by net. Death by ball. Tennis ball to the head.
Death by
to the
balls
nose.
to the balls.
So Abe, yes, death by ball, but not struck in the head.
Struck in the balls.
Justin
Yes.
struck in the balls.
Struck in the balls by the balls.
Get this.
Man.
So one of the players, there was one of the line judges' names was Richard Wertheim. He was 60 years old. He was officiating one of the junior boys matches at the U.S. Open in 1983 in New York City. One of the players hit a serve, but the ball went wild and struck Wertheim directly in the groin. This injury caused him. This impact of the ball caused him to fall backwards and strike his head on the court,
Oh.
and he passed away.
Wow.
Oh. What a way to
So
go.
what a way to go.
The next question I have is like, were you searching for this, or did you come across this completely accidentally?
He was looking for balls.
I was,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. How did you come up with? I mean, normal the train of thought would be you'd come up with, oh, I wonder how many people died doing that, and then you go research it. I know you didn't think of, oh, let me see if anybody got killed with a tennis ball to the nuts. How did this come about?
so this the source of this is an article called eight surprisingly 10 incredibly bizarre death statistics.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got like 9 more of those to go.
Yeah. I've actually already used some of them, but
I was gonna say that's where last week's one came from.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's honestly, after doing Numero de los Muertos for this many years, it's like the well is starting to go dry. It's not easy to keep finding this weird shit out there. So that's why the number one, it's like, okay, I'm not going to find, 325, but I can find a one that was just completely off the wall, out of this world weird. And that's kind of what we've had to go with recently because the well is getting a little dry.
Well,
but
David Floyd's going to Google that next week, so you got to change your list up.
Oh man! All right. That's all right.
Fucking cheater, you.
I'll find some more goods.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the lightning round brought to us by our friends at J.C. Newman Cigar Company. Excuse me, J.C. Newman. I'll be okay.
Can I help you?
I'm just fine. J.C. Newman Cigar Company, America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and The American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 112-year-old El Reloj cigar factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. All right. So, Abe, you've been on the show a few times. So I dug for some fresh lightning round questions. And this first one, I think it's interesting.
Do I have to answer fast? Is that what lightning round is?
No, not. No. These are just non-cigar related questions.
Got it.
So, what is the most outdated piece of technology that you still own and still actually use?
A vinyl player.
Nice. I like that.
Nice.
I like that. I have a vinyl player.
It wouldn't have been me personally, but my daughters got into vinyl. So now I shop for vinyl, and we have a vinyl player. We have a couple of vinyl players now.
I like that. I like a calculator, like a standalone calculator, not on your phone. That's
I got a solar powered calculator on my desk, like those little cheap ones, like whatever. Like, it's about that big. I have it on my desk for just quick math if I need to punch.
Okay.
Why look for my phone?
David, if you still use an abacus, good for you, I guess.
God bless.
Hey. All right. So, Abe, if you and your family could just suddenly tomorrow morning get on a plane and go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Based on my decision?
We'll call it a family decision. The family, everybody.
I mean, let's just be real, bro. There's no real
any spot on the club.
Let's just be real.
I
think it's a family decision, but there's not real now.
Michelle says your answer better be Alaska.
We went there, so that probably would be a choice. I know they want to go Hawaii because none of us have ever been. So that's on our radar. And I think my wife and I have talked a lot about going to Vietnam. We have some friends over there.
Oh, yeah.
And, we probably hit Japan when we're, that could be another one, but probably one of those 2 to 3 places.
Okay. If you, and I know you actually have already had a celebrity talk show, with the digital experience, but if you were suddenly overnight given a full-on network late night TV talk show, who would be the first celebrity that you would want as your first guest on the show?
Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, great answer. I like that. What is it about Gordon that interests you?
Look, I've actually met Jordan and talked to Jordan. So it was just like a personal experience for me. But for me, psychologically, Gordon Ramsay's like the equivalent of Michael Jordan in the culinary world.
Yeah.
Not just for being the youngest 3-star Michelin chef at the time he won his 3rd star. It's just his overall thing. The empire he built, the goodwill he does for the culinary world in general, grooming young kids and young master chef, these homebodies, Hell's Kitchen, even Kitchen Nightmares. At the end of the day, this guy's doing a lot of good in the world. So yeah, he's built an empire, but it's okay to build an empire if you're putting such good productive use to it. But
yeah,
I remember watching a scene because I emotionally felt this way when I was watching a documentary of when he won his 3rd Michelin star, and he's trying to get the inside scoop. Are they coming? Are they coming? Are they checking? Whatever. And he's on the phone with somebody important, but some guy tells him, look, I need you to get out of here and go to the front of the house. Go make sure this is done. And while he's on the phone, you see the guy come back in and start going like in one of those carts at the bottom and start grabbing dishes and stuff. And he's looking at this. And I still laugh, but he doesn't even know what to say. Does he yell at the guy? Right? And he takes the phone, he bops the guy in the head. And he goes, I told you to get out of there, you fucking donut. And, the level and standards of excellence, when you see even how he talks about running a team and communication, I literally try to implement a lot of that in even like our warehouse team and stuff like that. It's when you get to that next level of operating, because that's part of getting 3 Michelin stars, what kind of operator you are.
Yeah.
And when you get to that next level and standards and how not to lower a standard. Like I remember one time I got all like crazy because I've always prided myself since we started Sing Line 15 or 18 years ago, whatever it is. I always wrote a handwritten letter, and early on that was by me. And one day I found out, and this is probably going back 5-6 years ago, like they didn't do it for international packages.
Oh.
I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why would you think it would be any different? Why would you lower the standard? Whatever it goes, well, we didn't want it to, going through customs. Like, bro, if they opened the box and got to the letter, it's already busted in customs. Don't worry about it. So it's that standard. So I admire him a lot. I admire his psychology. I would love to do an in-depth interview because I think the guy that I believe from what I've read and his kids and his family, like throughout his whole career and his stardom, he's been married to the same woman. He has 4 kids. I would love to really pick his brain. That's a guy. I've never met him. If I could have 30 minutes with him, I would love it. And I even looked up how to get on the Hell's Kitchen dinner service while they're taping. I thought maybe you could book 2 years in advance and get in there or something. Hell no, man. Unless you know this guy and get invited, you got to go through a casting agency to get on a Hell's service dinner. Because, and I get it, it's online, it's on national TV. They don't want guys with the camera going, it's delicious. Yeah, this is amazing. Or the guys that look great in camera. This is amazing. So I get why they go through a casting agency. But yeah, I think Gordon Ramsay would be at the top of my list.
I love it.
I got a question for you. You've been moving your hands around. You got 2 tattoos on both insides of your wrist. What are they?
So this is actually a good story. So I was on during my 3-year reign of being on the board of directors for our cigar industry. At that time, I think it was RTDA still. Or no, actually changed to maybe IPCPR during my year. I was asked to fly to Vegas to check out this very new trade show that had started with another board member, and at that time the president, the guy who was running the association, I think it was Joe Rowe.
Okay.
He had been there like 13 years, and I was his last year, so he was like a lame duck president. He wasn't doing shit, didn't care about shit. So they booked my ticket, which is the last time I ever let any outside entity book a ticket for me. I don't care. You win a ticket, whatever, I'm booking my own flights. So they booked us a ticket. So we were flying out of Fort Lauderdale on Southwest Airlines. And my wife and I went down to the airport, and we got there plenty of time, but for whatever reason, checking in bags took forever and this and that. And by the time we get to the gate door, they're literally holding the door for us. And Southwest, you can't pick your seats. That's why I'll never fly Southwest anymore.
Yeah.
So, and back in the day, I couldn't afford a first class ticket. So it was awesome traveling with my wife because I took 1/3 of her seat. So we get on the plane, and this is post 9/11. We get on, so all our bags are in the underbelly of the plane already. We get on the plane, and I look, and as I'm walking through the beginning of the plane, I get past first class, and I see all the way down. This fucking plane is booked. There's literally 2 seats left on the plane. and one is in a middle row, like mid-plane, and one is in a middle row on the opposite side, literally in the last 5 rows of the plane. My wife, God bless her, she knows me, sees the anxiety on my face. And I had my laptop bag. Everything else was checked in. My laptop bag, I put it in the thing above because I found an empty spot. So my wife says, I got it, honey. Don't worry. So she goes to the back and politely talks to the person. Would you mind switching seats? My husband and I can sit together and blah, blah, blah. The guy says, nah, absolutely not. I don't want to sit in the middle and this and that, whatever. So disappointed, she walks back up the front. And meanwhile, this whole plane is waiting for us to sit down and take off. We're the last 2 people aboard the plane. So the stewardess is out watching us. Everybody on the plane is just watching us. So she walks back up and goes to the next guy and tells him the same thing. And this guy's response to my wife is, absolutely not. I'm not moving. So now I'm getting frustrated and I feel bad because my wife is being very nice and these people are being dicks. So I said, listen, buddy, you may not understand the big picture here. If you don't move, I'm going to be sitting there. And it's going to be one miserable flight to Vegas. And you know what his response to me was? I guess it'll be miserable for both of us. Oh. Yeah. I said, fuck this. I grabbed my fucking laptop bag. My wife's screaming, where are you going? I said, we're getting off this plane. The stewardess start telling me you can't get off the plane. You check in the bags. I say, stop me then. You all watching this shit? Nobody wants to deal with getting me seated so I can sit next to my wife? I'm getting off the plane. They let me walk off the plane.
Wow.
My wife and I walked off the plane. And I'm surprised. In retrospect, I'm really surprised they didn't call air marshal. They let me walk off the plane. The plane takes off, and all our luggage goes to Vegas.
Oh, shit.
So my wife said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. Let me look. So I started Googling, see if I can get a flight out of Miami, get my own flight out of Fort Lauderdale, getting all this shit. And I spent like an hour and a half. And I just finally said, fuck it. And she said, what? I said, follow me. So she sees I'm leaving the terminal. She's like, where the fuck are you going? I go down to the car rental place. And I rent us a convertible.
There you go.
It's like, we're not fucking driving to Vegas. I said, nope, we're going to Key West. Fuck Vegas.
There you go.
We already had somebody watching the kids. So we shoot down and spend 4 days in Key West. And while we're in Key West, I got this tattoo, which represented my wife and I, our intertwining, our relationship, our one band is her and one band is me. And I got this in Key West because of that mistrip. And on our way back, so we had to buy clothes.
Yeah.
I had to find a big and tall somewhere down the way. Got me the sandals and a couple outfits. My wife got a couple outfits. We bought clothes, went to Key West. On our way back up, stopped at Fort Lauderdale, picked up our luggage and came home.
Nice.
So that was the first one. And then after my son was born, it's literally almost the same emblem, but it has my kid's initials in it. It's upside down here, but it's Petra, Zane, Zara, Asher.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's like my family tattoos.
Pretty cool.
I love it. I love it. Let's jump into this week's notable smokables, brought to us by Luciano Cigars. Notable cigars, notable passion, notable purpose. So each week, all of us name a cigar that we smoked recently that was notable to us. Now, this could be a cigar that's been on the market for decades that we smoked for the first time in a very long time, or it could be a cigar that's brand new to the market that we smoked for the first time ever. So, Abe, what's something you smoked recently that really stood out to you?
So it was literally recently, and it was later than I should, because normally I will smoke these well in advance, but it was the holidays. I ended up having to travel the week of my birthday. So I really did not get a chance to smoke this. And Alex and I said that we would smoke one during the drop, during the broadcast. And I was traveling, so I forgot to bring one with me to smoke. So I really didn't get to smoke one of these until after they were gone and sold out. And I'll tell you exactly when I smoked it, because I literally texted Steve Saka. Let me see here. Here it is. It was Thursday, last Thursday at 7:32. I was doing somebody else's podcast, and I literally sent him a picture of it. And I said, stellar.
Nice.
It was the new DT EX that he dropped for the Great Smoke that was released last week. That was probably the most stellar cigar I smoked in the last
Very
week.
nice.
It was very, very good.
Nice. Justin, what was your notable this week?
My notable this week was the Blackworks Trading Company But I had it come in a Lancero from like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Yeah, I don't think I had the Lancero, but I had one of the sizes of that cigar. I liked it.
That
Definitely.
Lancero's the best one in the bunch.
Is it?
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
What was your notable roll?
Mine was a Tatuaje Little Haskell's.
Little Hassles.
Haskell's. Yeah. And I think it's probably, I want to say 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah, I think they came out about, they made a small run, I think, for the Saints and Sinners people of that cigar.
Pretty darn good. Like Petite Corona.
My notable was from last night or yesterday afternoon. Packers playing the Cowboys, and I lit up the Lovely Cigars number 162. Lovely Cigars being a very small, brand new cigar brand.
Out of Green Bay.
Owned by some guys in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So I lit up the number 162, which has the green and gold on the band. And I'm not saying that helped with the victory at all, but I'm not saying it hurt. That's all I'm saying. But it is it is a really nice cigar blend that they put together with that one.
It's phenomenal.
So that was this week's Notable Smokables, brought to you by Luciano Cigars, improving lives through fine cigars. Visit lucianocigars.com to learn more. And speaking of learning more, here is some cool stuff we have coming up on the next couple weeks on How About That Cigar Live. Coming attractions brought to us by AJ Fernandez. Born and raised in Cuba, AJ Fernandez now produces unparalleled premium cigars in Esteli, Nicaragua. The AJ Fernandez portfolio of cigars provides blend strength and flavor profiles to match the preferences of any premium cigar consumer. Whether it's New World, Dias de Gloria, San Latano, Enclave, or Bellas Artes, you are sure to be satisfied with a premium cigar from AJ Fernandez. All right, next week on the 22nd, we have Jack Heyer from Camacho and Davidoff. On the 29th, we have Mickey Pegg from All Saints Cigars. And on February 5th, I didn't finish typing it, but on February 5th, we have Nate Beck from Boveda on the show. And maybe if he's in town, we'll just have him here in the studio. So we'll have him here live in studio. So, Abe, brother, thank you so much for being on episode 229 of How About That Cigar Live.
He's cut off.
Oh, we lost your audio.
You hit your mute.
Oh, we still can't hear you.
You hit mute.
You got mute, brother.
There.
I had to blow my nose during the commercial, so I didn't want to hear me blowing my nose. No, thank you for having me on, man. It's always a pleasure and a lot of fun. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, brother.
We look forward to you got seeing all the pictures and stories from the Great Smoke, and hope you guys have another phenomenal event this year.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, viewers and listeners, guys, thank you so much for being the best part of How About That Cigar Live. We thank you so much for watching and listening along with us. Take a minute, subscribe, hit the like buttons, all those wonderful things that keep How About That Cigar going. We thank you guys so much for that. If you have any questions for us, you can email us right on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. Like I said, be sure to follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You will find us on all of those at HBT Cigar. And of course, we thank you for watching and listening to episode 229. And until, the mystery bourbon. Okay, real quick. The mystery bourbon. I like it a lot because there's only like 2 drops left in the glass.
Yeah, you did pound it.
I'm going to say, if I had to guess, I'd say it's somewhere in the Four Roses family, but I can't be sure.
Blanton's Black Japanese Export.
This is the Blanton's Japanese.
Yep.
Well, it's really good. So Blanton's Japanese. That was the mystery whiskey of the week. Thank you for reminding me of that. I always forget.
I'm not just eye candy.
I always forget.
I'm not just eye candy. Felt like it today, but I'm not just eye candy.
Again, guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. And of course, until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys. Any comments, opinions, viewpoints, or statements presented or uttered by guests on the HBTC podcast, HBTC live video streams, and all other media from HBT Media LLC are solely those of the individual and do not necessarily represent the opinions or viewpoints of How About That Cigar or its parent company, HBT Media LLC, any of our advertising partners, or the premium cigar industry. The primary purpose of How About That Cigar is to entertain and to encourage activity and growth within the community of people who enjoy or want to learn about the enjoyment of premium